I'd like to thank all of you for doing the things that make a difference in our lives. You're improving our medicines, you're making our foods safe, or at least safer, and you're reducing our dependency on petroleum-based products. And these are all things which are going to be a tremendous advance for the United States of America. We thank each and every one of you for that. Medical research has actually been one of my top priorities in the Congress of the United States. I believe that promoting policies that will help people's health and well-being is something that we should be doing. I have been the co-chair of the Biomedical Research Caucus and Diabetes Caucus for some time. Again, nobody asked me exactly how well I did in my physics and biology courses, so they allowed me to do this, and it's been a great pleasure to work with those entities in Washington with other members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, to try to make a difference in advancing those causes as far as Congress is concerned. I believe from a jobs perspective that we are starting to make advances in Delaware. My records indicate that the biotech industry provides more than 12,000 jobs in Delaware. So it is already a significant industry and one which is growing. As Governor, I was pleased to have had a hand in the creation of the Delaware Technology Park, which we have seen the growth of in more recent years. I believe that we have an outstanding base of jobs, and innovation will continue growth in our region for some time to come. I realize that the economic climate has dampened a little bit of interest in the biotech industry, and that's something we have to re-incentivize in every way we possibly can. And I think there's a role for that as far as Congress is concerned also. I spent some time visiting different research facilities in London, at Harvard, at Johns Hopkins, and the National Institutes of Health, which makes a lasting impression. It makes a lasting impression to me that great scientists, greatly educated scientists of the world can actually explain it in such a way that I understand it. And I was appreciative of that. It's been great working with some of those people who stopped by my office in Washington and talk about the things that we should be doing with respect to developing our country in those areas. And some of those things, very briefly, are educating our future scientists. I happen to be the ranking member on the Education Subcommittee in the House of Representatives, and we spend a lot of time on worrying about educating our students. We have a couple of scientists, there's only two in the Congress, in the House at least, in the United States, and they're both on this committee, and they talk constantly about the need for STEM education, dealing with technology and math, and what we have to do, and we've been pushing that very hard in terms of advancing where we are in this country. We do need to educate better in the United States of America. We're going to be rewriting No Child Left Behind this year, and hopefully we can rewrite it in such a way that we take the good parts and keep them, and take the parts that aren't as good and revamp them so that education can be even better. I believe in the importance of the National Institutes of Health. As I've indicated, I've toured that facility. I'm not 100% sure they do everything right, but I do know that a lot of the money that goes into research, particularly some of our smaller companies, flows through that, so we need to continue to do that in every way we can. The role of the FDA is a matter of some concern. When I talk to businesses, I hear about this time and again. It is my hope that working together as Republicans and Democrats, we can sit down and make the FDA more functional, perhaps faster functional than it is now with respect to some of the different experiments and developments with which you are coming up. I think that's absolutely vital. I'm working on a pathway for biosimilars. I understand that the bioscience industry is dependent on investment capital and how many years it will take to complete R&D, and we need to continue to work on that in every way we can, including a regulatory approval pathway for biosimilars, which we consider to be very important as far as the future of the country is concerned. There's a Patent Reform Act that's been going through Congress for some time, and I have some concerns with that particular piece of legislation because I believe it could weaken penalties for patent infringement, which could potentially discourage future innovation. There are aspects of the economy that want it. I would imagine that most of you would be concerned about that legislation if you are familiar with it. The governor mentioned that I've been involved with stem cells, and I have almost from the beginning. Well, not from the beginning of stem cells, from the beginning of the discovery. I should say. And I had a young staffer who was very engaged in this conversation as well. And we started to look at this and talk to a lot of the scientists involved and decided to co-sponsor legislation, which I did with Diana DeGette, who was a congresswoman from, a Democrat from Colorado, and we got that legislation passed. Unfortunately, President Bush, who had approved certain lines of embryonic stem cells, which had existed before, decided to veto this legislation. So he did. It was his first veto. And then a couple of years later, we decided to do it again and got it passed in the House and the Senate again, and he vetoed it again. President Obama has signed an executive order which basically encompasses much of what we were trying to do. And now we're working on more refined legislation, which has a great deal of commentary with respect to the ethics of this and how it's to be done in order to help develop what we are doing. We're also working on a new regenerative medicine bill, which relates somewhat to the stem cell work that we have done. But regenerative medicine is something which is rising in the public-private sector, and we need to spend time with that also. So, in our own way in Congress, we're taking some steps to move forward as far as all of this is concerned. But I am just duly impressed by the work that all of you collectively are doing here in Delaware. And I believe that if we stay with this together, we are going to see advances which are going to have tremendous economic implications for our state, which are going to have employment opportunities for our state, and which are going to make us all live hopefully longer and healthier lives.